What's going on, guys? What is going on? Yes, sir. It is your boy Kamish Moolah in the building. We got the episode 2 of the podcast college series, man. Started off really good right now. Um, I've been loving the activity. Um, a lot of interesting things happening. Week 2 was crazy. If I'm just gonna be, I mean, week 1 was crazy. Pardon me. Week 1 was really crazy. It was a lot of action, a lot of surprises. Definitely got to say a lot of surprises because we seen some top teams fall, man. You know, um, we just doing the score graphics for the prime time games. So the score graphics will, primarily be for the prime time games where it has the statistics and things of that nature. The rest of the games will be posted, but they will just have the front page of what the primetime games have. So shout out to my guy Tank Wilson, tuned in, man. Yeah, so definitely just wanted to give y'all a little week 2 wrap up before we went into, I mean, a week 1 wrap up. Pardon me, I'm already thinking ahead, but I want to give you guys a week 1 wrap up before we headed into week 2. Um, I got some games to stream, some premiere games to stream tonight. So make sure you stay tuned in for that action. But I definitely wanted to breeze through this real quick so that way you guys can, keep up with everything if you haven't. If you haven't been in tune and there was some things you may have missed, this is the best opportunity for you to, tune in and see some things and, keep up with what's going on in the league. So I'm not gonna keep you guys waiting too long. I'm just gonna jump right into it. Guys will be able to watch this back and tune in and see, what's going on. So we're gonna go with the scores first. We're gonna get to them scores. In the first game, we had Texas versus TCU, and that was a big time win for Texas, man. Texas came through. It was a kind of a close battle early on, but then Texas kind of just ran away with it, started clicking on all cylinders, and the guy Jason Duncan had himself a night, 17 to 25, 227 and 2 touchdowns. So he responded to the critics well. A lot of silence in the locker room after that preseason performance. I think guys were questioning his ability a bit. I think guys didn't really know what to expect out of him, and I think this was a huge bounce back for Jason Duncan and the rest of those guys, man. I think it was a huge bounce back for these guys. I think this is exactly what they needed to have some confidence going in to the rest of the season. I think it was like a lot really silent for these guys, and then we're gonna go to the stats. Key Harris, 23 rushing yards. 23 rushes for 115 yards. Profit margins, the receiver won 5 receptions, 72 yards and a touchdown. Then you had Waverly Harris, the user corner, with 6 tackles, 1 interception, and a touchdown. And then on the TCU side, John Wilson threw 29 for 50, 321 yards, and 3 interceptions. John Wilson still looked decent in the game. Not sure if that playbook and that scheme really fits him. But the 3 interceptions also came when these guys had to cover a lot of ground. These guys were in a situation where they had to, go big. They had to take some risks because they were down, and that's what led to the interceptions from John Wilson. Frank Demir had 96 all-purpose yards, so that was a split between, him running and playing in that receiving game. He had close to around 50 in each category, so nothing too spectacular for Frank Demir. Emiliano Pereira, the user tight end, had 9 receptions for 119 yards. So a decent game for him. Him and John Wilson seemed to have clicked very well. But like I said, that scheme in the Texas defense, was all over it. I don't think that offensive scheme worked for TCU. And then them Texas guys were literally all over it. They made it very hard on John Wilson and company and those receivers. John was having to get out the pocket, and they were just putting a lot of pressure on TCU's offense. And I just don't feel like that scheme was the right fit for them in that week. So, never know what type of adjustments we may see in week 2. But big shout out to them Texas guys. Bo Knapp had a huge onside kick return, and it just started pouring raining out there for TCU in that first game. But, it was just week 1. Teams have an opportunity to bounce back. It's a very long season, so you can't hold your head too much. But very good outing for Texas in this one, man. Definitely, got to tip my hat to them guys. They came prepared and ready to play for week 1, and they got it done, man. So game number 2, you had UNC versus Clemson. So this was another really good game. J. King, 22 for 30, 238, and 2 touchdowns to get his UNC Tar Heels to 1-0. So this was a hard-fought game too. This wasn't a easy game for UNC. UNC is a really good team. Shout out to all the guys in the chat. Hello, Rello, John Wilson, Tank Jackson, and Tank Johnson, I believe. Yeah, man. Tank Wilson, Tank Jackson, and Tank Wilson tuned in. Brandon James, yeah, man. Shout out to my guys. Waverly Harris in the building, but yeah, man. So like I said, this wasn't an easy game for UNC coming in at all. Clemson, they definitely played, and as you can see, UNC only won by a touchdown. But still seeing a lot of what we thought we would see from UNC coming out. J. King played really good, really poised, and his receiving core is just tremendous, man. We're gonna look at that in a few. You had Dre Willis out there, 122 all-purpose yards. Dre Willis can just really do it all, whether he's in a receiving game, running game. They did have him stopped a lot early in the running game. Then he started to do his thing and find some room. But this guy was also, just tough to deal with in the passing game, and that's why UNC is such a problem. They have a lot of offensive weapons. Justin Herron led the receiving charge with 4 receptions, 59 yards, and a touchdown. And then Bud Simmons on the defensive end for UNC was tremendous. Bud with 10 tackles and 1 interception. That interception was huge, and their users stepped up when they needed to. Dre Willis a user, J. King a user, DCP had a touchdown, a user wide receiver. They all were just clicking on all cylinders. BJ Hamilton, the tight end, Cujo was playing really good, the other wide receiver over there. So just an all-around great effort for UNC, man, and you gotta love the effort from those guys coming in, to this game. Then you got Tula Dowell of Clemson, had himself a decent game, but those 2 interceptions were costly. And speaking of that secondary for UNC, man, user Alexander and the user secondary period was just crazy. Those dudes had everything on lock. Bud Simmons caught an interception, so did Alexander, and they really just had things on lock, man. If I'm being honest, Vontae Moore was non-existent. I believe it was Trey Harper on the other side, really locking things up. So it was a very tough matchup out there. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you haven't already. I'm trying to speed through this thing so that way we could get into those games and not have it be too late. Don't be wanting to keep you guys up, but I know some of you guys be in a different time zone too, so I gotta stop. I be thinking Eastern time for everybody, but still want to make sure we get through this, man. And yeah, man, Tula Dowell played decent. Just them 2 interceptions made it tough, especially late in the game. In a close game like this, can't afford to turn it over like that. Dwayne Cunningham, 7 receptions, 151 yards, and a touchdown. So that's really good. The running back, Johnny Hubbard, 100 all-purpose, 1 touchdown. So doing some things, some balanced things in the receiving and rushing game as well. Andrew Alexander, the young bull, just was talking about him with the interceptions, man, for UNC. And that kid is tough, man. And then we're going to go on to Florida and Georgia. Another primetime game here. Eric Weber led the charge in a comeback. Georgia was leading big at the half, 17-0, and Eric Weber just completely turned it on. Only gave up 3 points in the second half, and Eric Weber, like I said, just took charge and got it done. This kid is a sneaky guy that you got to watch out for. Definitely showed he could get it done. 26-34, 171, and 2 touchdowns. So not too much in the yards department, but definitely showed you he can pick a team apart and make the right decisions as a field general. And I just got to tip my hat to Florida, man. Their defense really clamped up in the second half, and, they believed in their field general, their leader, and he got it done, man. So, definitely big salute to him. Then you got Britton Blake, 20 rushes for 90 yards. Edward Owens, the tight end, 1 reception for 3 yards and a touchdown. Threw him on there because he did get the touchdown. So, that, sometimes it's like weird like that where, we'll have a guy that didn't have too much stats still come in and get a touchdown, and I can't leave the guys that scored off the graphic for guys with just yards, unless it's like crazy number of yards. And then the cornerback Eli Kelly, 5 tackles and 1 interception, which was a huge interception late in the game. If you watched that game, I advise you. If you haven't watched that game, I advise you to definitely go check it out because that was a sensational game, man. Comeback effort, down to the wire type of thing, and Unfortunately, Georgia just couldn't get it done. Brock Williamson, 18 for 35, 266, one touchdown, and a costly one interception late in that game. AJ Mullis, 19 rushing yards, 19 rushes for 92 yards and a touchdown. And then Ethan Kright is just looking like the man in that receiving corps. 7 receptions, 151, and a touchdown. Late in the game, made a big catch that we thought would lead to a field goal for Georgia, but it was a bit aggressive. And guys are gonna say it was Madden because they didn't spike it in field goal, but you can't afford to let a team come back all the way like that in the second half. And played it too aggressive at the end of the game, and it led to a loss, man. A heartbreaking loss, but a loss nonetheless, man. And shout out to my guy Rome Swan, aka Elijah Swan, in the building. Definitely just got signed up, so salute to you. Appreciate you. You're gonna definitely play this week. So, yeah, man, big shout out to him. And a lot of love to the new guys who've been tuning in, man. A lot of new guys signed up after week 1 as walk-ons. So, I tip my hat to those guys and welcome to the Moolahverse, man. So, heartbreaking loss for Georgia in this one. But Florida, man, played to the last tick. Second half came, they made the proper adjustments, and they got it done. And moving on, a huge record-breaking night, record-setting night, because there hasn't been no records to break here in the Moolahverse, but this kid, Jay Bogner, took it to a different level in week 1, 28 for 45, 516 yards, 3 touchdowns, en route to beating, the UCLA Bruins 38-31. This kid was sensational, just catching all of his user receivers in stride, poking the holes in the defense. Big shout out to that coaching staff and offensive coordinator, because those guys were truly dialed in and finding a game plan that was going to work and take it right to the defense of these Bruins, man. These guys were, just completely on the money in their approach, man. And I just got to salute to them. Offensively, they were hitting all the spots that they needed to hit to win this game. And it was a very high-scoring game, as you can see. So it didn't come easy, man. But whenever a team is, playing like that and just, playing cohesively like that and finding the guys in the right spot, you just gotta credit them for the game plan, and gotta credit the coaching staff on that one for helping them find the holes. But it was this guy Jay Bogner who played a huge role in everything we saw in that game. And Ace Lewis, 104 all-purpose and a rushing touchdown. Michael McConaughey, the tight end, huge moments in that game. 5 receptions, 143 and a touchdown. And Brandon James, the receiver, was right there after him. Pardon me, Michael McConaughey, I put wide receiver there, but he's a tight end. And then Brandon James, actually a wide receiver. 5 receptions, 129 yards, and a touchdown. Like I said, Jay Bogner was just finding all of his users in stride, and it was very tough for, UCLA to keep up with these guys. It was very hard for them to, stay on task with this team. And UCLA put up a fight, so you guys got to watch out for UCLA, but just couldn't get it done in this game against a high-powered offense of Notre Dame, man. So I tip my hat to Notre Dame for getting it in this one, man. They came prepared, they came ready, and they got the dub. Salute to Notre Dame, and we'll see what they're going to do in week 2. And now the surprise game of the week, man. Nobody expected this. I think this is actually how we opened up the primetime games, but it was Penn State just dominating the preseason ranked number 1 Washington. Johnny Manziel answered the critics with a huge performance, 16 of 23, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns. And boy, when I say this guy, like I said, he just shocked the whole league. Didn't look too good in the preseason. A lot of guys were giving him, a lot of hell because he was, came in with the Johnny Manziel persona. And of course, whenever you're trying to, swagger jack somebody and take their likeness, it's gonna get you into some hot water. So nonetheless, that's what he did. Came in with the Johnny Manziel persona, and a lot of guys wasn't liking it. They was giving him flack because he didn't play good in the preseason, but he answered the call big time against Washington, who was previously ranked number 1, and he literally just picked these guys apart, man, making big plays out there, playing smart. And he got it done against a really, really good secondary. And they just looked like they couldn't do anything with Mr. Manziel. Offense was almost non-existent, only scoring 7 points. And we're going to get into some more of the statistics right here. Taylor Macy, the running back for Penn State, also ran for 109 yards on 30 attempts and got in the end zone. Jalen Johnson, the user receiver, was helping Manziel pick these guys apart. This kid had 7 receptions for 127 yards and a touchdown. And then the defensive end, Jared Bingham, 5 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 3 sacks. A monster night for Bingham, who you guys got to watch out for, man. He's going to be heavily on the scouts' radar if he continues this, because that's a monstrous night. 3 tackles for loss and 3 sacks, alongside 5 tackles at the defensive end position. That is huge. Javon Sims, not a night that he would have wanted. 18 for 31 for Washington, 200 yards passing, a touchdown, and an interception. He was under pressure, as you can see. Jared Bingham was not playing with him, and it was just tough for him, man. Tight end Leo Zahn was, kind of helping him out. 8 receptions for 71 yards. It's kind of a safety blanket, but they couldn't really get much going down the field. Didn't have the time. And Javon Sims just couldn't adjust to the defense quick enough. Wide receiver Cam Johnson led the charge for the receivers with 4 receptions, 54 yards, and a touchdown. The lone touchdown of the game for Washington. But this was a complete shocker for, the league, for Washington, and it's going to be interesting to see how Washington bounce back, man. A lot of these guys I know disappointed. The quarterback was just not happy after the game, voicing his opinion, really just upset. And rumor has it he's not really a good locker room guy. Rumor has it that the quarterback, Javon Sims, is a bit of a head case in the locker room. And that's going to be interesting to watch. Can he keep his guys rallied together? But the rumor definitely has it that Javon Sims is a tough leader, man. He's not guys were saying that he's not a true leader, and he doesn't express himself well under duress, and that's gonna be tough to deal with. Later in the season, you got a quarterback that has an erratic attitude and can't keep his composure. So we're gonna see how that is moving forward. I wish them the best, but the rumor definitely has it that Javon Sims is not the type of quarterback that you want to be on a team with when things are going left during the season. It was only week 1, and I'm hearing he was disconnected from the team in the locker room, and pretty much on a rant, blaming it on a multitude of things instead of like taking ownership and making a proper adjustment. So I'm just letting y'all know, man, as an analyst, what I seen going on and what what the rumors and the birdies are saying coming out of Washington's locker room. But a big win for Penn State, and let's see how Penn State does moving forward, and let's also see how Washington responds in week 2. But moving on, we have Alabama beating LSU 27-13. Duke Davis came out on fire, 18 of 30 in the week 1 for 244 yards in the hat trick of 3 touchdowns. So Duke Davis doing what it does, man. Shout out to Duke Davis for getting it done. Shout out to Gorilla Gobbler. Whoa. Shout out to Gorilla Gobbler in the chat, man. Thanks for tuning in, and welcome to the Moolahverse if you're new here. Yeah, man, but 18 of 30 for Duke Davis, 244 yards and 3 touchdowns. He had led his team to 27 points, man. And then as a quarterback, when you get 20 points, when you could throw for 21 points, man, that's what you like to see. That's what you want out of your guy. Made the proper adjustments after not seeing what they liked, seeing some things that they didn't like in the preseason, and they responded really, really well, man. Check out some more stats. Devontae Moore had an outstanding game, 24 attempts for 150 yards. Hassan Aziz having a really great night, 7 receptions, 77 yards, and 2 touchdowns for the tight end Aziz. Mateo Reverend was a menace on defense, 7 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and an interception for Alabama. And Alabama was really doing their thing, man. Shout out to my guy Momo Woods. So Gorilla Goblin is actually a linebacker for Ole Miss. Momo Woods, shout out to you, my guy. The name just threw me off. I never saw the name before, so I was like, whoa. But yeah, man, Alabama came to play against a LSU team that has a lot of work to do. But I think these guys are going to get it done eventually. I think these guys it's going to take some time, but I think when they figure it out, whether it's this year, in the future, these guys are going to be, forced to be reckoned with. Prince Gonzalez showed some flashes, but only 24 for 44, 248 yards, and an interception. Didn't get in the end zone. Patrick Vince, halfback, had a decent night, 13 attempts, 87 yards, and a touchdown. I know they want to give him the ball some more, but when you're playing catch-up sometimes, you can't lean on that running game. You got to start passing it. And then David McAllister, the tight end, looked good. 9 receptions for 88 yards, and definitely a good effort from him in that one, man. But we're gonna move on. Shout out to Bama for that win right there. They did their thing, and salute to them. And another surprise here, you had Oregon come in and beat Ohio State. Benji Truman, a running back, 17 rushes, 138 yards. He had a huge touchdown run, about 90 something yards. Man, got in the end zone twice, man. So this kid Benji Truman showing you for Oregon that he has big playability, and you just want to keep an eye on these Oregon guys. These Oregon Ducks did not come to play in this game, week 1, against the user-studded Ohio State. Ohio State is a really good team, but I just think they got to find their groove, find what works for them, find what they can run, and they'll start to hit their stride during the season. But Oregon wins 15-10, and Jacob Brewer for Oregon, the user quarterback, 20 of 31, 203 yards, didn't get in the end zone. The running back, did that for him twice, but he was a really good game manager in this game. Glenn Sullivan, the tight end, 3 receptions for 46 yards, and then Antoine Teague, the linebacker, 9 tackles, 1 interception. So getting it done on the defensive end. And then when we look on the other side for Ohio State, you had Yancey Rivers, 25 for 46, 217, a touchdown and an interception. So a decent night for Yancey. But them turnovers is costly, can cost you in a game. And this game, close game. So definitely don't want to see turnovers in a close game. Carlos Thompson, not the night he would have wanted, 21 attempts, for only 47 yards. We know we can expect more from him, but maybe they just got to move some things around, get some things together, and they'll be okay. Tight end Delonte McKenzie, 4 receptions, 42 yards, and a touchdown. So, a decent night for Ohio State. Just lost by 5 points. They definitely got a chance to get it together, but they just got to figure it out, man. Just got to figure it out. Yeah, man. Gotta get some things together. I'm laughing at you guys in the chat. You guys are hilarious, though. I'm tuning in the chat every once in a while. But shout out to my guy Eddie. Shout out to my guy Momo Woods once again, and all the guys in the chat, man. Let me get a hashtag Our League in the chat and hit that like button. If you haven't already, let's get this video out there. But moving on to the last game, we had Michigan State versus Michigan. Another really good game for the Battle of Michigan. And Jermichael Bibbs and company come up huge once again. This kid, Jermichael Bibbs, is not a guy you want to sleep on. 17 of 30, 179 and a touchdown. They also have 2 really good running backs who were, doing this like little 1-2 punch combo thing. And it looked really good. Looked sensational. And just got to tip my hat to those guys, man. And they really did their thing. Let's get into the stats for them. You got Michigan State with the win in here, and Will Armstead and Angelo Bow as those guys. 13 rushes, 86 yards for Will Armstead, and then you had 19 rushes for 67 yards for Angelo Bow, and they were just doing their things, man. They were just doing their thing. Like I liked what I seen. I like how they were mixing it up, playing really balanced. And whenever you got 2 running backs that can play that effectively and a quarterback like Jermichael Bibbs, some teams are in trouble. And then Randy Darby played sensational on the defensive end. 10 tackles, a tackle for loss, and a sack. The linebacker was clicking on all cylinders, man. And that defense was locking it down. As you can see, Michigan only scoring 1 time. Zion Lipscomb had a pretty tough, I don't want to say he had a tough outing, but he was, under some pressure. 23 of 34, 224 yards, and a touchdown. So no turnovers for him. Played it cool, but just a tough night. Just a tough night for Michigan. Tank Jackson, only 11 attempts for 44 yards, so didn't get too many attempts, and did decent with the attempts he got. But I know he definitely want to see those numbers go up. Maybe they got to find, something that fits them a little better, but still not a bad night for Michigan. Only lost by a touchdown. Very close game, low scoring game. Only 3 touchdowns between the 2 teams. And Leon Clark, 10 receptions, 97 yards. And he was the tight end. They actually just got a walk-on tight end as well. So it's gonna be very interesting to see, moving forward, what these guys are gonna do. And I said I will get into some league leaders after this, as this was the last game. And we can get into that quickly. We get into the league leaders quickly. Let me just launch this Madden game so we could go and see who's leading the league after week 1. Who is leading the league after week 1 in the sense of who is the guys that are, leading in each category after week 1. We know Jay Wagner got it with that passing performance. Let's see now in the rushing game who's a leader, and let's also see, in the receiving game, who is the league leaders here in this college series, man. So let me just get this thumbnail up. So yeah, man, we did the game reviews for the primetime games. We didn't review the premier games. We're gonna keep it to the primetime games, but because I'm loading this up, I actually can, show the scores and stuff for the premier games, which won't hurt anybody. And it's just been fun, man. This whole league experience, man, has been tremendous thus far. And I just want to tip my hat to all of you guys for being active, for tuning in, and continuing your support, man. If you're new here and you're just checking this out, get in tune with the Moolahverse. Get a walk-on player and enjoy the experience. You can always just enjoy it as a fan and get in tune next season. But we having a lot of fun things, just brewing here in this league. And I truly believe that it's an experience like no other, man. So we're gonna go to the schedule first. It won't hurt to go into the schedule first. We're gonna go to the schedule just so we can wrap up a few of the premier games that we didn't see. No need to really wrap them up fully, but we're just gonna look at the scores. We're gonna look at the scores and just fly through those and talk about some things that we remembered out of those. I just pulled the game up, so I'm gonna go to this scene real quick with the game. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, man, we had Oregon State versus Utah, 28-25. We wrapped up TCU, Texas, Ole Miss, and FSU. That was a great game, 31-34. A crazy game, man. Crazy game. Just like, you guys got to go tune into that game. Very high scoring and just want to watch. We did Alabama and LSU already. Colorado, Auburn, another really good game when Colorado kind of came back in that one. That was 30-27. Then we had Tennessee versus Texas A&M. Tennessee winning that one by a large margin, 29-3. The quarterback Trey Johnson looked really good in that one, and their defense looked tremendous. Gonna keep an eye on Tennessee after that game. Can't wait to see what they're gonna do in week 2 because they looked sensational in week 1. I don't know if that's just because Texas A&M, it may just be a dud team, or is Tennessee the real deal? That's gonna be interesting to see. Then we had Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State coming away with the big win in that one. The Cowboys getting it done. I believe that was like a muddy, rainy game. Really tough game with Power and company. Got it done. Power being a quarterback. That was like a really muddy premier game. Ugly game, but they got through it. And they came through with a win. We covered Georgia, Florida. We covered that game. We covered this game. NC State and Wisconsin. Another one of those 2 sleeper teams that nobody really cares about. Mostly CPU guys, but Wisconsin got it done 19-11. So Wisconsin 1-0, and although they're a team that these are 2 teams that you don't want to really pay attention to, gotta pay attention to the winners, man, because the Badgers came through, got a good win. So whoever's playing against them, man, gonna have to get in the field and do some homework on these guys, because you don't want a team like Wisconsin to shock you. Mississippi State and the Miami Hurricanes. Mississippi State just giving them the business, 28-3, another just blowout. And we're gonna see if these, a lot of CPU stuff going on with both of these teams, but this is a chance to see, is Miami just, or is Mississippi State like the real deal, man? Yeah, this is a chance to see, if that's the case, man. This is a real chance to see if that's the case. So we're gonna be going through these games real quick. Iowa versus USC, really heavy on the CPUs in this one too, but Iowa is as good as advertised. A lot of guys were saying you can't sleep on Iowa, and they're proving that to be right. Can't sleep on Iowa, man. This is a really good win against USC. USC, I don't want to hang my hat on them because they started to put up a fight with that user quarterback Cameron Bryant. But right now, the verdict is still not out on USC, man. They got to start to make some adjustments or something. Not sure if Cameron Bryant been too active, but he got to get active and fix something if he want to turn things around. Michigan, MSU, we covered that game. UCLA, Notre Dame, we covered that as well. And Clemson, North Carolina, we covered that. So now I can actually get into some league leading things and show you guys some of these statistical leaders in each category here. Let's go to that real quick. And let's go to the actual entire league. Let's go to the let's go to the NFL. Let's see what's up, man. So you got for yardage, no surprise here. Jaden Bogner really leading the charge. Ace Andre Roche coming in second. Both of these guys threw for 3 touchdowns with the big yardage numbers that you see here. Tyler Bledsoe also had a huge night, although he took the loss for Auburn, just showing that he can gunsling, man. Pretty high completion percentages for these guys too, 62, 61, and 60. So those are the top 3 guys right there. But I guess we could cover top 5. Tashawn Bryant in that Florida State game looked really, really good. 391, 75 completion percentage, and 3 touchdowns. So this is an outstanding game for Tyshawn Bryant. And you got to keep an eye on him after a performance like that. And then the number 5, we got John Wilson. Although he had a nightmare night with those 3 interceptions and that scheme really doesn't fit him. He's still, kind of doing his thing, man. And you can't hate the effort from him in that one. Now we're going to go to the Russian guys, the Russian leaders. Let's see what that looks like. You got John Brunson leading the charge for Oklahoma State. He had the most yardage. He's a generic guy, so keep your eye on these generic guys, man. Then you got Devontae Moore coming in at number 2. He's actually a user for Bama. He was 3 yards shy, 3 yards shy of being, the league rushing leader this year. So tip my hat to Devontae Moore, man. Great effort from him in that one. Benji Truman, number 3. For Oregon, he had that huge run and had 2 touchdowns to go with it. So got to show him some love. Then you had Richard Ryans here at number 4 with 119 yards for Mississippi State. That's a good game. And then at number 5, you got Key Harris, 23 attempts, 115 yards. Didn't get in the end zone, but got it done, man. Let's see. Pardon me, didn't mean to do that. Let's go to Q to sort to see who had the most touchdowns. I believe the most touchdowns had to be 2 with Benji Truman. Yeah, it was. And that was already in the order. So now let's go to the receiving game. And Ethan Krite is at number 1. 7 receptions, 151 yards for Ethan Krite. Big salute to Krite on time, because Ethan Krite has been on time, most of the time, man. We've seen him do some big things in the preseason, and then now, he matched that effort in week 1, although they took the loss. But I still got to tip my hat to him. Shout out to my guy Logic Carter tuning in. But then at number 2, you got McConaughey with 143 and a touchdown, the tight end, number 2 on the list. Let's see if he can keep that up. Then you got Cedric Hill for Ole Miss at number 3. Him and Ace Andre Roche was dialed in. He had 2 touchdowns. So a big night for Cedric Hill. Got to watch out for him. DeMarcus Armstrong, 6 receptions, 132 yards for Florida State. And him and Tashawn Bryant was locked in. And then number 5, you got Brandon James. So in the top 5, you got 2 Notre Dame guys. 129 yards for Brandon James on 5 receptions and a touchdown. So, like I said, at number 5 in the top 5 for receiving yards, you got 2 Notre Dame guys, and you definitely just gotta show them guys love at Notre Dame. Jay Bogner had a huge night, and they helped Jay Bogner get it done. Let's just skip forward to the defense. Let's see who the tackle leaders. Pardon me, I keep doing that, thinking that's how I could sort, but it's actually Q for sort. So let's go for total tackles. Nasir Fitzsimmons, the corner with the most tackles. What about a corner getting the most tackles? And he got the win, 15 tackles. He's leading the charge right now. And then you got Hannah, the linebacker for, Georgia, coming in. They're tied for first in tackles right now. Then that second, you got Mitch Kirksky, the free safety for Oklahoma. Then at third, you got a couple of guys tied. And Brian Holiday, Sidney Jackson, Jonathan, Delvin Madlock, Jonathan Griffith, Delvin Madlock, and Devontae Freezer. Shout out to the user Devontae Freezer. Also, you got Hammond. So at fourth, you got Thaddeus Hammond, Wayne Langham, and you got Momo Woods. Momo Woods, this was in the chat, the user. So tied for fourth. Let's see if he can continue that. Also got Quentin Santos in there as well, another user middle linebacker for Georgia. So seeing a lot of users here when it comes to these tackles. And then at 5, we got a lot of guys sharing that as well at 5. We got Elijah Andre Roche, the linebacker. So both linebackers for Ole Miss there. Zanny Phantom. You got Cole Davis, the user linebacker. So you got a lot of guys on this defensive end making plays here, especially the users. And now we're gonna go to tackles for lost here. And see what's going on in that department. And we got Darren Levy, 5 tackles for loss. What a week for Darren Levy, man. Gotta keep an eye on him for Ole Miss. Maybe one of the best pass rushers in this thing right now at number 1. Then you got Paul Jones, the middle linebacker for Mississippi State, with 4 tackles for loss. So unless they were sending him on the blitz all the time, man, this guy really gets in the backfield. Then you got Charles Dawkins for Texas A&M, 4 tackles for loss and a sack. Gotta watch him. David Hanna, 3 tackles for loss, as well as being, in tied, I think, for number 1 and number 2 for tackles. 3 tackles for loss and a sack. So David Hanna just out there all over the field making plays. And you got these guys tied. These are the guys you got tied. Jared Bingham was going crazy. 3 tackles for loss and 3.5 sacks. Lakeem Marion, Cunningham. So you got a lot of guys, tied up right there for these tackles for loss and I believe the 3rd slot. Not a bad effort from the pass rushers, man. Not a bad effort from the pass rushers. Let's get not from the pass rushers, for the guys that were getting in the backfield. Now let's see what's up in the sack department. The pass rushers, Jared Bingham, just playing sensational. Then you got Carl Calhoun with 2.5. Then you got Darren Levy with 2, Lakeem Marion with 2, Shelton Aldridge with 2, Artie Harvin with 2, D. Wilkinson with 2, Jamar McElroy, Nick Woodward with 2, Paul Jones 1.5, Justice Lang 1.5, and then I'm sure we got a host of guys with 1. But definitely got to keep an eye on what's going on in this pass rushing department and a tackle for loss department, man, because the scouts are going to be paying attention to those categories, man. Those them big time categories. Guys in the chat really going at it. Gotta love the competitive nature here in the Moolah verse. And then interceptions, we had a lot of picks that I'm seeing right now. Kadeem Walker, Mateo Reverend, Darius Levy, Demarius Levy, pardon me, Antoine Teague, Bud Simmons, Enrique Knight, Eli Kelly, Waverly Harris, who had the pick 6, Andrew Alexander, the young bull, with the pick, Nazir Fitzsimmons with the pick, Delvin Matlock, Jalen Peterson, Kamari Hill, the other corner for Texas, and Sean Kelly. So had a lot going on, man. We can also check out these forced fumbles really quickly. And let's see what that looks like. Oh, Mike Guy with 2 forced fumbles for strong safety for Ole Miss. So got to keep an eye on him. And then here goes the rest of the guys moving down. If I see any users, I'll shout them out. But no need to just go over everybody's name like that. And overall, just some good work out there. Let me see. Did anybody take back some kicks? I believe we did see. We seen Jo take back a kick return on a punt. Not on a punt, on an onside kick. I know he's gonna be up there. Yup, Bo Knapp. Oh, and we seen Cameron Macy of UCLA, big time kick return before the half. After a little 2-minute drill, that was just sensational. So gotta keep an eye on these guys right there in the return game. We didn't see any punts go, but yeah, man, that's the league leaders right there. And I just gotta show my love and tip my hat. I did do a graphic for the players of the week. So let me get back on the OBS. Let me get back to the OBS over here. No, pardon me. Main display. And let me try to load in these images real quick. Let me try to load in these images real quick for the player of the week. I don't think that I had saved them and put them in the OBS. I actually didn't. So I'm going to get those player of the weeks up really quickly. And I'm going to show you, who won the player of the week, man. Also, we got to get into that new top 10. But let me finish this the proper way, show you the players of the week. And then we'll get into that. But the player of the week's got to show you those graphics. Where did it go? Hold up. I think I'm tripping. I know that I did those, knocked those out the way. But, oh, here they go right here. Gotta load both of those in here. Guys, just give me a second to get those player of the weeks up. Know you're gonna like these player of the weeks. I'm gonna do offense and defense this week. We just did the offense because the two defensive guys who got player of the week were actually generics. So definitely want to get that right for the next week. Didn't get those players of those generics, so that's on me. That's why you gotta get the pictures of the generics that do good, man, because I actually overlooked that, and those guys got the player of the week, and now that's on me that I didn't get to show those guys their love for the player of the week. So let me go to this real quick, guys, and get these player of the weeks in there in a proper folder, and then I'll show you these player of the week graphics real quick. Let me see y'all guesses. Who y'all think got player of the week? What two players y'all think got player of the weeks for each conference? Let me know which two players y'all think got player of the week for each conference, guys. Let me know who y'all think got the player of the weeks for each conference. Drop y'all guesses below. One of them is a bit of a giveaway, but here it goes right here. We got Sean Bryant got one of the player of the weeks, and then we're gonna post a duplicate right here. I'm gonna post a duplicate right here, and then we're gonna show you the other player of the week. So Tyshawn Bryant, and the other player of the week is, I think that's a bit of a giveaway now, but Jaden Bogner. J-Bog. So the defensive player of the weeks was not Waverly. So I'm gonna let them get their own airtime too. Let me let them get their own airtime. Take down this thumbnail real quick and let these guys get their own little airtime on the screen, man. Make this a little smaller. So yeah, man, Kamish be doing all of this on the fly, man. Make it even in size for the two players of the week, man. And yeah, man, those two are your players of the week. Tyshawn Bryant, Jaden Bogner, doing their thing, man. The actual defensive player of the year was actually Nazir Fitzsimmons and another generic linebacker. So I can actually show you that in the game as well. But these two quarterbacks got player of the weeks for their respective conferences. And I tip my hat to these guys. These guys came in prepared, true leaders of their team. They did some game planning things as well. So gotta show love to these dudes right here. And that's just before we get into these top 10 rankings, and I do the schedule for you guys. Yeah, man. So podcast been flowing nicely. Shout out to my guy Nino Cavacci in the building. Yes, sir. So podcast been flowing. These guys got the player of the week. And just so you don't think I'm cap, we're gonna go into the player of the week in the game. So that way I don't think I'm trying to do no funny business. And as you could see, the player of the week's right here. Middle linebacker for UCLA with 13 tackles and a sack for this conference. And then you had Fitzsimmons, the cornerback, 15 tackles and an interception for this conference, and he was there at CU. So that's just so you guys don't think I'm capping. I like to be as transparent as possible here in the Moolahverse, man. And let's get back to the main display really quick, and let's cover up these pictures because now we can get into that top 10 ranking. Let me get my fake little drum roll going. And we gonna go into the top 10 rankings right here. There it goes. Top 10 rankings, guys, for week 2. Number 1, North Carolina. Number 2, Notre Dame. Number 3, Michigan State. Number 4, Texas. Number 5, Oregon State. Number 6, Florida State. Number 7, Florida. Number 8, Alabama. Number 9, Oregon. And number 10, Penn State. So that is your top 10 going into week 2, guys. Hate it or love it. I know guys are going to be talking a crap about this, But USC got to get the number one. They were number two last week. They got a hard-fought victory. I like the way they looked. Played to their strengths. Still played really good all around. Clemson, I think, just played up to the competition. But gotta show North Carolina that love. Notre Dame played tremendous, huge game against UCLA. They showed that in the shootout they could stay resilient and to the last minute kept their poise and got the dub. So had to throw them there at number two. Big shout out to Notre Dame. That was an amazing game. And like I said, just did the things necessary within a game like that. That's huge and a lot of implications because they're ranked. They got it done. They adjusted on the fly and got it done. Number three, Michigan State had a huge game against Michigan, who was ranked as well. And, their quarterback came in, did the thing, man. So they're going to take a leap this week into number three. And, just got to show them that love and respect, man. They did their thing. Number four, Texas. Texas had a huge win. Huge win against TCU. And, TCU had a tough outing. And TCU was a pretty good team coming in. But Texas gave them the business, man. Number five, Oregon State. Another team that teams got to watch. Number six, Florida State looked really good. Tambucci is on Oregon State. And then you got Tyshawn Bryant at Florida State, who looked really good. Florida in at number seven. They had that huge comeback win against Georgia, who was ranked pretty high. So got to give them love, man. Got to get them more here. Alabama had a really good game against LSU. And I just think Alabama was deserving of a top 10 spot. I think they're a team that you got to watch out for. And you can look at these rankings like power rankings, man. So there's not always everything just by the book and by the analytics. It's by my analysis. It's me checking out these teams and saying, based on what I've seen from this team, based on the adjustments made, based on the way they played in certain situations, this is what I'm going to go with and the teams that I'm going to go with. Then you had Oregon at number 9. Really good game and a shocking win. Well, not too much of a shocking win, but I think guys, not sure if guys expected them to win that game, but they got it done. And then Penn State definitely had to get on this list after beating the number one in Washington and handling them the way they did. They didn't want Penn State to jump up too high because they still got to earn their keep. But they did sneak into the top 10, man. Definitely did sneak into the top 10 with that huge, huge win. So there goes your top 10 teams, man. There goes your top 10 teams. And I just moved something to the side, but I actually want to click on this. No. Top 10 rankings. Yeah. Let me move this to the side real quick. Because when I bring up the schedule, I want to actually show this a little bit. So here goes the Premier schedule, guys. I could take the top 10 rankings off for the Premier schedule, but here goes the Premier schedule for the week. So these are the two games that you guys are going to see tonight. TCU and UCLA will be starting things off tonight. Got to get one of the TCU guys made, and then we'll start that game. So I'm gonna get in the ship right after this, and then Michigan and Oregon will be following that one. So those two games will air tonight. Be sure to stay tuned for those, but they are premier games, so they won't have commentary. Got to make a guy for Michigan as well. So as soon as I get in the ship, I'll be making the TCU guys airing the game, and then before I do the next game, I'll go and make the guy for Michigan as well. So that's how we're gonna rock it out. So we do got some action tonight. It is gonna be a good night here. Tomorrow we got two more premier games that will air. USC versus LSU and Buffaloes versus Miami. So we do got a nice little week of some action where we'll be getting 2 games a day. And this on Saturday we will be getting 4 games. I could get up early, knock these games out. They will be premier games. So we got a lot of action coming up. And we're going to do predictions too. So TCU, UCLA had a really big game against, who did UCLA play last week? UCLA played, Hold on. Hold on, guys. How am I blanking on this? Because UCLA had a good game last week. Let me see. UCLA had a good game last week against. Although they lost, they had a good game. Oh, Notre Dame. Yeah, Notre Dame. That was that shootout against Notre Dame. Pardon me. They had a good game, and TCU actually lost. But I think I'm still gonna go with TCU in this game. If I'm being honest, I still gotta pick TCU. I think they get the bounce back victory. I think John Wilson shows us a way better night tonight. Um, and then Michigan versus Oregon, that is tough because Oregon won last week, but Michigan took a tough loss, right? But with the build of the two teams, that's very tough. That's very tough. That's very tough. I'm gonna say TCU wins by a touchdown in this game, and I'm gonna say that Oregon wins by a field goal in this game. So in these two games tonight, I got TCU by a touchdown, and I got Oregon by a field goal. So and they will be live streamed. They're not premiered. I didn't pre-record them, so they'll be live streamed. And then for CU versus Miami, I gotta go with CU in this one. I don't think Miami just has enough. I think CU is gonna move on to 2-0 after this. And then LSU versus USC. That's up in the air. I might go with LSU. I'm gonna go with LSU by like a touchdown because USC did show some fight, but I gotta go with LSU by a touchdown. Penn State versus NC State. I'm going with Penn State. I'll be shocked to see Penn State take a loss to NC State after getting a big win versus Washington. That'll be tough. Like that'll just show me that they, just played up to the competition. Florida versus Texas A&M. Gotta go Florida. Gotta go Florida in this one. Not that Texas A&M is terrible, because let me see. Texas A&M, what did they do? They took a terrible loss to Tennessee last week. So I'm definitely gonna go with Florida in a convincing victory against them. Then we got Auburn against Oklahoma State. That's gonna be a good game because both teams are like, I don't know what to expect, but I think, do I want to go Auburn in that one? Auburn put up 27 points and their offense looked a bit tough, man. But then you had Oklahoma State got a win last week, but 19 points. I don't know. I think, but their defense played alright. I think I got Auburn. I think Auburn goes 1-1 and make Oklahoma State 1-1. I don't know if Oklahoma State gonna go with 2-2. They gotta show me more offense, honestly. Mississippi State and Utah, that's tough. That's tough right there. Both teams lost. Mississippi State lost. Let me see something. Mississippi State lost. No, Mississippi State won 28-3 versus Miami. And Utah actually lost 25-28 to Oregon State. So, that's actually interesting. That's actually going to be a really good premier game. So, I'm going to say give me Mississippi State in this one. They won in very convincing fashion. I think that even if it's a closer game, they get to follow up. And then Tennessee versus Ole Miss is going to be huge. Huge game. Because although Ole Miss took a tough loss in a shootout, Tennessee looked really good. And I think this is a clash of two really good teams, man. But I do think that Ole Miss is going to bounce back in this one. I think Ole Miss wins by a field goal in this one. So I got Ole Miss by a field goal in this one. I think they get a narrow victory against Tennessee. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Tennessee win this game. But if I had to choose, because we making predictions, I'm going to say Ole Miss by a field goal. Michigan State versus Oklahoma. It's going to be a tougher game than you think. Although Oklahoma took that tough loss to Oklahoma State last week. But I'm going to stay strong and go with Michigan State, man. I think that dual threat running attack that they got in the backfield, that two-headed monster, along with Jermichael Bibbs, is going to be tough for any team to stop. So I definitely got them by about a touchdown in this one. Maybe 2 touchdowns. Or maybe 10. I got them by 10 in this one. Touchdown and field goal. Got them by that in this. And then premier game of the week, we got Bama, the undefeated Bama versus Clemson in the premier game of the week. And I got to go with Bama in this one. Clemson looked good. They fought hard and fought strong, but I don't think they're going to be able to beat Bama with those users. They looked really good last week. I think they're going to look good this week. Pardon me, guys. I got a little sick. I think the little flu bug trying to spin back on me. But you know, I still gotta be in the lab, still gotta be in the moolah ship, getting this done, man. And then yeah, man, that's it right there for the premiere games. So we gotta end that. We gotta close that, and then here goes the prime time schedule. And the prime time schedule goes as follows. We're gonna get those prime time games in next week so that we're on the board and on track for the week, guys. We started the season on a weird way. Started the season on a weekend, so that's why the schedule has been weird and it hasn't followed the week like it's supposed to. And pardon me, guys, excuse me on the sneezing and stuff. But yeah, man, because we started it in a weird week, we have to balance things out. So that's why our primetime games are going to be next week. We could do 2 a day, or we may just separate them 1 per day for 5 days. But I know sometimes that's not enough content for you guys. I know you guys want to see a lot of action. But the way I got it right now is say that we do 2 on Monday, 6:30 and 8. Then we do 2 on Tuesday, 6:30 and 8 as well. And then we save that last one on Wednesday for 8 o'clock. And then the rest of the week, I could make content, make headlines and stuff. I could do the statistics for these primetime games to drop those on the social medias. And it just gives us time to get back into the week the way that it's supposed to be, opposed to us starting late and having that weird format. So next week will just be a little different as far as the games, because we'll just straight be doing primetime games next week for week 2. So in the first game, we got Oregon State versus Florida State. That's going to be a movie of a game. I got Oregon State, though. I'm sorry, but I got to go with Oregon State, and I'll say Oregon State by 10. I could be wrong. Tashawn Bryant looked really good, but I got to go with Oregon State in this one, if I'm being honest, man. I'm sorry, Tashawn. But Sambucci and that wide receivers looked really good, man. And not that you didn't look good in the last game, but right now Oregon State has just been shocking a lot of people as a mostly AI team. And I just like the effort that I've been seeing from them. Then you got Notre Dame and Wisconsin in the next game. I got to go with Notre Dame. Although Wisconsin won, I don't think that they could keep up with this Notre Dame offense. Notre Dame has a high-powered offense that's going to be hard for anybody to keep up with. Then you got North Carolina versus Iowa. Gotta go with this is a huge game, cause Iowa has been good as advertising. North Carolina had a tough win last week, but I see them get another tough win. I say another win by a touchdown for North Carolina at number 1. That's what I see. Another tough win for North Carolina. Out of these primetime games, I got Notre Dame beating Wisconsin by the largest margin. I think they beat Wisconsin by about 17, maybe 14. So I'll keep it honest. I'll say 14. Then I got North Carolina beating Iowa by just a touchdown. I think that's going to be a very, very tough game. Washington versus Ohio State is a huge game. But I don't know, man. I don't know how many adjustments Washington is going to make. And I don't know if they're going to make the proper adjustments. Because like I said, with Javon Sims being a leader in that locker room or being a quarterback, I don't know how guys are going to be able to adjust properly if he's what they said he is. If he's like the rumblings, like I said, the rumors we've been getting is that Javon Sims is not the guy to be the leader. He is not a true leader in the locker room. And if that's the case at the QB position, it's going to be tough for Washington to make the proper adjustments moving forward. So I may just have to go with Ohio State in this one, and that means Washington falls to 0-2, and that will set the locker room on fire. If they think Javon Sims wasn't that guy since from the loss last week, I think if they lose this week to CT, Yanksy and those guys, I think the locker room is gonna be on fire. And I got Ohio State, man. I got Ohio State winning by a touchdown. I say Ohio State beats Washington by a touchdown, and I think North Carolina is gonna beat Iowa by a touchdown as well. So those 2 games on the 13th, I think they'll be decided by 1 touchdown in favor of Ohio State against Washington and in favor of North Carolina over Iowa. And then now the last game of the week, last primetime game of the week. We got Georgia versus Texas. We got a lot of users. Georgia played good in the last game. Just took a heartbreaking loss to a now ranked Florida. And now they're going against a ranked Texas. Gotta say though, the way that Texas played, it's going to be a battle. I'm not sure if Georgia gonna bounce back. Not sure. I gotta go with Texas in this one. That defense looked immaculate. Waverly and Waverly and Kamari Hill. The corners looked sensational. Key Harris looked sensational. At the running back position, Jason Duncan looked really good. Those wide receivers, profit margins looked really good. Profit margins. The other slot guy that they had, I forgot his name. And then you got Bo Knapp as well, looking good. So I don't know, man. I gotta go with Texas in this one, and it wasn't easy to go with them, but that's who I gotta go with, man. And yeah, man. Drop y'all predictions, man. Who y'all got? Let me know who y'all got in these primetime matchups. Drop y'all's down low, and I'll take some questions before I go and make those players and get that game. So that game will start. That first premiere game will start at 9. And we'll do the other one shortly after. We'll do the other premiere game right after, guys. So, yeah, man. I'll answer some questions, and that's really it for the podcast today. We're not going to do the Malcolm list every week. We're going to save that for, later in the season, guys, so we can really look at stats and dissect some of these players. Doing that every week is just don't make no sense, and it's not realistic. The Heisman watch usually comes later in the year. So, yeah, man, any questions? Let me see if you guys got any questions. And if you guys don't have no questions, I'm going to end the podcast and we're going to get into the action tonight. Who's excited about the action tonight? And let me know y'all predictions, man. Pardon, guys, from on my nose on the cam and all that. But like I said, man, Commish got to get it done. Commish got to get it done, man. And as y'all see, man, I gets my grind on. Commish definitely gets his grind on and puts in the work in the lab, man. So yeah, I'm not seeing no questions come in. I'm not seeing no predictions come in. And I don't want to hold up for too long so we can get this game started. So just let me know. I ain't going to rush y'all, but definitely let me know, guys. Shout out to my guy, John Wilson, boosting the server, man. Appreciate you, my guy. Definitely gonna slide you some extra SC for that. Remind me. Write me in the inbox and say I boosted the server so I could just have that as a footnote and get you some extra SC once we get that thing going, man. Okay, I'm seeing some guys writing some things in the chat, but still don't see any questions, man. So if you guys don't got no questions, we could get out of here. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. It's been real. It's your boy Commish Moolah. I know that y'all a bit behind too. So I could let the video play out for a little bit to let y'all get some more questions in. But yeah, man, salute to all the guys that tuned into the podcast today. It's definitely been fun. It's definitely been real. We got some big premiere games coming up soon, man. Let me actually get that schedule back on so you can see who's playing tonight. Yeah, we got Michigan and Oregon. Whew. Michigan and Oregon. And then, first we got TCU, UCLA, and then we got Michigan and Oregon. So that's going to be very tough, man. That's going to be very tough. I can't wait to see how these games unfold tonight. Can't wait to see how these games unfold tonight, man. TCU got to get a bounce-back victory. TCU has to get a bounce-back victory in this one, man. I'll be surprised if they go down 0-2. Not that, because UCLA is a tough competitor, so it's possible for them to go down 0-2 in this one. I'm being real with you. But shout out to all the guys, man. I want to see y'all in the VC. Let me see y'all in the Moolah ship, man. Pull up to the Moolah ship for the game. These are premiere games, so we get to chop it up in the Moolah ship. Although it's no commentary, we get to chop it up in the Moolah ship together and watch the action together. So pull up, and we gonna have some fun, man. Also, we got Michigan versus, Oregon. That's going to be another good game, man. So, pop out to the Moolah ship. I'm about to get in the ship right now. Help me create these players before this game real quick. You know how we do with the creating the players. So, help me create these players before this game real quick. Appreciate you guys for rocking with me during this podcast, man. It might have been kind of a shorter podcast, too. It might have been, just around An hour, yeah, I like that. Just around an hour, nothing too long. Gives us some replay value, so guys could go watch this if they missed it. But excuse me, guys. Big salute to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me. It's your boy Kamish Mullah. I ain't see no questions, so I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.